Good evening. I'm Terry Sterner.
And I'm Doug Ort.
Brian Lynch, General Manager of United Artists Cable, couldn't make it with us tonight, but we decided we're going to go ahead anyway. I'd like to apologize before we go too far. Don't adjust your TV set. We've been having some technical problems, and I don't know if you've heard this before. We're a low-budget operation, but if your picture starts shifting from black and white back and forth to color, don't adjust your set. The problem is not in your set. It's in our cameras and our switcher. Don't worry, I won't ask for money yet, but we will later on. First of all, Doug, you're a student here at Stephen Decatur, and you're a member of the Communication Arts class. Tell us a little bit about what Communication Arts is all about, or what you've been doing so far this year.
Well, I must say I was surprised when we first started in the class. It's not like any other class I've taken. I mean, it's mass media. I mean, you learn how to use media to your advantage, how to speak in public, and things that you really can use later on in life.
Okay, one of the things that there's actually two fields or two areas where you're actually
yes,
working.
That's correct.
Okay, main one, well, in almost equal time you're devoting to both.
Yes.
You have the school zone articles that you're writing for the Salisbury Times that comes out every Tuesday. And then you have a lot of these productions. We've been doing some basketball games and that sort of thing.
Right.
And what other things in the way of I guess what I'm looking for here is what sort of things are you exactly doing with film?
Well, with film,
I should say videotape.
Video. Well, for the past couple weeks, the students of the Communication Arts have been writing and producing their own soap opera, Area Code 410, and that's set to air sometime within the next
2 to 3
2 or
weeks.
3 weeks, I believe.
I helped them out with that one.
And also, time that we have now has been devoted to Film Festival.
Okay, and what you're about to see this evening is some Film Festival entries. Give you a little bit of background again on United Cable's Channel 10. Just last spring we changed to Channel 10 from Channel 40. So obviously you're watching us on Channel 10 right now. 4 years ago, United Artists was first approached by the school board, and at that time they said, you have some public access and educational access channels available. And is it possible for us to be able to use those? And basically, they had just gone through a major rebuilding of their system. That rebuilding of their system made it possible to have two-way communications between your converter box at home and their main base point where they distribute all their signals. The advantage to that was they didn't have to send a lineman out to your home every time you wanted to ask for HBO. It made things much faster, and it made it much more convenient for both the customer and the corporation. So that's one thing that made it possible for us to come to you tonight from Stephen Decatur High School. And basically what we've got here is just a small modulator that sends the signal to United Cable. United Cable then resends or redistributes the signal to all of its customers in the Berlin, Ocean City, and Fenwick Island area. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. If you see things also on Channel 3 and Channel 4, those are coming from Berlin and Ocean City City Hall. In fact, as I understand, there has been some talk about the fact that City Hall is going to eventually have their own little operation similar to ours with cameras and everything else. They're going to be broadcasting city council meetings. That might be a real snoozer. It might be a real fireworks show as well. We'll see that when the time happens. My crew is laughing at me because I'm getting myself in trouble already. Okay, well, I don't mean to leave you out of this, Doug. You jump in any time here. We're sort of following a script that we had hoped would be coming up with Brian Lynch, but again, as I said, Brian could not make it this evening. We're sorry that he couldn't, but here we are anyway. And again, don't adjust your television. So the next thing to do is go to the 1-minute videotapes that we had as a class project in Communication Arts. 1-minute videotapes. What was the point, Doug? What was the assignment?
Well, the assignment basically was we were to make a 1-minute commercial in which we were to sell a product. And it basically introduced us into the filmmaking process and, showed us all the areas which were needed to produce a final product.
Okay, you're involved then in actually filming, and then you have to come back from the filming and go through the editing process.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other step beyond the editing process?
Yeah. Not only do you have to edit the film, but you also have to edit the audio.
Okay.
And fixing like that. And even before you get started, you have to write your script, which is what's like is essential. A good script makes a good film.
Okay, have you ever done or produced a film of your own before at all?
Before the class, no.
So you sort of have to expect what you're going to see may not be real glossy and just like the pros do, but it's a start. And certainly, I would hope that if Gandhi's out there watching, I think we can give him a little bit of competition. Uh, so how about if we get to the 1-minute commercials? These were produced for communication arts class by students at Stephen Decatur High School, including 11th, 12th, and even a few 10th grade students. We're back at wide angle, so let's cut to the videotape. Roll the tape, Kirk.
From the director who brought you Rumpelstiltskin comes a new children's theater masterpiece, Little Red Riding Hood. The story of a young girl's journey looking for happiness. For the villainous Wolfgang is very tricky and will stop at nothing to get her, as she helps to save her grandmother from the villainous grip of Wolfgang, even if it means getting help from others to fulfill her dream of grandeur. Watch as Little Red Riding Hood becomes distracted by Wolfgang's charm, manners, and politeness. Watch and see how she finally sees through his disguise and discovers what he truly is. Brought to you by the Stephen Decatur High School Theater Department.
Hi, I'm Han. And I'm Franz. And we're here to golf you up. Are you a little girly man who always loses on your date when you say miniature golf?
Here's your solution. Out to miniature golf with Hans and Franz.
So buy our video and stop being a girly man. Be a pro. And if you buy now, you get Hans and Franz shirts free. Please specify color.
Down on your luck? Can't keep it on the fairway? Always in the sand? Well, all your problems will solve with the new Superflight golf ball. Here, try. It'll make you the golfer you've always wanted to be. When you need to improve your golf game, use Superflight, the farthest flying golf ball there is. Sold at a golf store near you. Superflight, the longest ball in the world.
Ready for that touch of class? A little elegance, ambiance, and tasty entrees? Tired of that disgusting cafeteria food? It looks and tastes a lot like dog food. Want a change? Don't despair, there's a new cafe in town. Decatur Cafe. Here you can feast on the ever-popular Hawaiian crushed pineapple tidbits, always a treat, a popular favorite. Or settle for the delicious green beans, or the traditional favorite pizza. For dessert, try some chocolate chip cookies, or opt for that sugar-free Jell-O. So make that change and join us here for an elegant evening at Decatur Cafe.
Germany, 1939, a country being torn apart by the insane efforts of a madman.
Es sind meine Gattin! Flammenlungen! Sigal! Sigil! Ein Dusan! Ein Sigal! Excuse me. Yes, you are. Second row. Center. Yes, you. Der Bugle your way.
Ja, das ist Bugle Boys.
We thought so. We thought so.
Well, we're back live, folks. Just want to give you the guy that was guilty for that last little 1-minute commercial, Kirk Fostich.
Hi.
Let's hear your explanation, Kirk.
We heard it from a joke, actually.
A joke?
Yeah, it's actually adapted.
Hitler's not somebody to joke
From,
about.
well, it's a short, okay, it's a black joke, but,
Okay.
And at the time, we were going, well, that would be interesting, and then we finally got rolling, and after everything, it came up interesting.
Came up interesting.
Yes.
You were allowed, I'll just sort of fill this in, some people would recognize that some of that material was copyrighted material.
Yes, the film Triumph of the Will, the short documentary about World War II, was with the black and white footage, and the very beginning shots were from Indiana Jones.
Oh,
of all places.
Yes, that's right. I remember the book burning scene. Okay, I got you. Just a little word to our audience. The reason that we're allowing copyrighted information for students' productions, at least to some degree, is it is permitted for educational purposes. And again, we, as long as it's not kept longer than 7 days, we're abiding by the law. We didn't want anybody to think we were trying to violate that. We do want to have them get into film production with 2 feet right away. And sometimes it's really hard for them to get away from school. One of the things that I'm trying to emphasize here, and again, you're going to find a lot to criticize in some of those production values. But what's crucial about this is that we're trying to do in 50 minutes a day what most professionals do 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And they have the freedom to be able to get up and walk out and do a film shoot out on location. These kids don't. They're in school. They can't leave. So I did want to bring that to your attention. So there are some limitations to the production values here. But again, I think what's important to note is that they're getting some firsthand experience. Now, let me grab a hold of Kirk again here. Now, Kirk, on your last, is this the first time that you've ever had an opportunity to produce films?
Well, I was in the program last year, and that was the first year, and my brother, Paul Fostich, who some may know.
You claim Paul?
Yeah, well, we try not to claim him.
Our mom and dad watching tonight, we don't want to criticize Paul too hard.
But, and he actually got me interested. He told me about the program, and I got really interested, and we started it, and with Brian Bauer, who's
your partner in crime, I understand.
Yes.
Sorry about the glitch, folks. Again, our signal is not real stable. But go ahead.
And we started with some commercials and music video, and the program was somewhat the same as this year. And we did a film festival project, which eventually won the county festival and the state festival, and went on to the international, where we lost to a cartoon.
Well, that cartoon you lost to is
it was an excellent
Rowland
cartoon.
High School in California.
Excellent.
And in fact, one of their former students is now doing all the Pillsbury Doughboy commercials.
My God.
Yeah,
well, trust me, it was...
The personality is there. We had occasion a couple of years ago, John Chester and I and Steve Dekos, to go out to California and actually visit Rowland High School and see their program. And it looks like a huge old barn, but they've got about... they're usually in Super 8. They don't do a whole lot with video.
That's interesting, because they had a live action mixed with animation video, and it was
They're
on the
starting
red
on
bike.
computer animation.
And
that's what they're doing.
That is true, because the one they had, it had sort of a computer tinge to it. I mean, it still had like the onion skin, I think as they call it, animation, but it had a computer look to it. like still very good. I mean,
A lot of the kids out there were inspired by Roger Rabbit when they saw, being able to mix cartoon
they
with
had a
live
lot of
action.
qualities. They had one boy who was riding on a bike going down the road, and like during the credits they had this little caption.
The bike was cartoon, or
the bike was a small. They showed like a big. No, it was actually a live bike. It was like
Okay.
a small bike about this large, and they had it like on this truck, connected to the camera, and then they filmed it pace after pace after pace after pace, and then added in the character boy, the animated boy later.
Sounds good. I've left you out again here, Doug. You had a video in that series of 1-minute commercials. You were Hans and Franz. You were which, Franz or Hans?
I was Hans.
You were Hans.
Yeah.
A little bit of a stolen idea from Saturday Night Live there.
A little bit, but
but very cleverly done, I might add. How long did it take you to get all those cuts? Because obviously, when you're slugging away on a miniature golf course, and you don't slug away on a miniature golf course.
No.
How many hours? How many hours did you spend filming? How much tape did you actually have in order to get that final 1 minute?
Well, for the 1-minute commercial that we ended up with, we ended up shooting for 4 hours.
4 hours
I
for
know how
1
that
minute.
4 hours for 1 minute, yes. Like you said, the shots, you can, manipulate the scenes, and you see me like swinging across a lake, and then miraculously,
where did that golf ball go?
well, to be honest, it went across Coastal Highway.
Yeah, okay. I can imagine how the owner of the golf course felt, or the driver that saw it flying by his window. But go ahead.
But I mean, it's a lot you can do. It was a lot of fun. It didn't really seem like 4 hours, and I mean, I learned a lot from that first one, and then.
Well, Dan Davis had done a couple of videos.
Yeah, Dan Davis, he took me under his wing. He was in the program last year, and he basically showed me how to do everything, so I had an advantage.
Okay. I especially like the one where you did take the long, big swing, and then you suddenly cut to the other side, and you see the ball land right on the green.
Well, the continuity was nice. I asked him, I go, well, if you look in the background, you can see, and it looked like it was just starting. He goes, oh, there must have been somebody that was standing there, and it just worked out nicely.
Yeah. Well, Dan said he had to lay down and throw the ball.
Yeah, that's what he was laying down almost in the water and threw it up a hill.
And the ball came bouncing. Now, how many times did you have to take shots trying to get the ball to go into the hole?
Actually, that probably took up about 3 hours of our filming out of the 4 that we did.
No Lee Trevinos on that course, were there? Okay.
Well, there were a lot of shots you didn't use. I was looking at your raw footage, and you had this one shot where it had the camera as the ball rolling toward the hole.
It was a neat idea, but we didn't have the right equipment. Just being a high school, we didn't have a truck or dolly like we needed.
Speaking of equipment, maybe this is the time to mention. Basically, what we're working with here, folks, the camera you're watching us on now is a camera that was donated by United Cable. The color shifting that you're seeing in the background is not the camera's fault. We've got a problem between our switcher, which was donated secondhand, and our output signal, which again I'm not an engineer, and we wind up with all kinds of synchronizing problems. But again, we apologize if the problem is that your colors are shifting. Don't adjust your set. But we would like to suggest that if there's anything that any of you would be willing to donate in the way of technical expertise, or monetary donations, or for that matter any equipment that you have that you think we might be able to use, we could certainly use it. We're doing this whole operation on a real shoestring. We have since gone to camcorders, consumer-grade camcorders, for the students to take out on location and do their films with. One is currently in repair. It's going to cost us $256 to have repaired. But I still think that it's important for students to get their hands on the cameras and actually use the cameras. That's the only way they're going to learn how to use them. But if we could get some help on paying off that $256 repair order, we'd certainly appreciate it. To date, we've had four donations this year. That's it. 4 total. And we will certainly be mentioning their names at the end of the show and showing our appreciation. So we could certainly use a lot more support from our community. The Board of Education has not given us any money for 4 years now, or I should say 3 years. They are responsible for having bought the original editor, which has been a godsend to us. The problem is, if that breaks down, we're off the air. So please, we could certainly use your help with the budget cuts this year. We lost the $6,000 that we had allocated. So we have not gotten any new equipment within the last 3 years, and certainly 4 years it's been tight. So with that and all the bad news out of the way, you guys have a couple films in the next series. These are a little bit longer. We're coming up with the music videos.
Oh, yes. 3-minute. These were the next step, if you will, in the video making process from the 1-minute commercial. This was a 3-minute music video. I believe one half of our class got to choose our music. The other half was appointed their music.
Our half was appointed.
Yeah, my half we got to pick. And
I saw some more interesting results from the ones you didn't get to pick.
Well, I think
from the
because
ones
people
you
were
got to pick.
restricted, they're actually the ideas had to come, because it's like, you know, when they're thinking, well, we can just pick any music, we'll do whatever we want, and then they never get around to doing whatever they want. That's the problem.
My plan was that in doing a music video, you were given a piece of music. You were told it should be about 3 minutes, which is the average length of a song. And the object was, instead of your getting to pick the music, you had to pick the pictures that it went with the music. Ooh, excuse me. It's a chronic problem, folks.
Welcome to live TV.
Yeah, live television. You can't cut that. You can't edit it out of there. I guess you're getting tired of hearing us sit here and talk, especially me ask for money. So maybe the thing to do is go straight to the videos. We've got quite a number of them. We'll be stopping right after, I'm trying to remember which the last one of the 3-minute music videos is. We have one that's sort of out of place, and that is the Quest of the Golden Pine Cone, one of Doug's favorites.
I wonder why.
There's a little bit of a history behind there. We'll do the history, and then we'll go to the tape. The history behind the Pine Cone Posse. Tell me that.
Okay, the history behind the Pinecone Posse. It started back last year.
What's the Pine Cone Inn? Give them a plug.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's the Pinecone.
Okay. Well, I was gonna tell them. Pinecone Inn used to be a restaurant and bar my parents owned, and in botany class, of course, talks of pine cones and pine trees and stuff
To
like
make
that
a long
came up.
story short,
They made a lot of jokes
Became
about it.
obsessed with
they
pine cones.
picked on the
Yeah.
fact that your parents and you owned a place called the Pine Cone Inn.
Well, it wasn't really called that. It was called that previously.
Better than the Dewdrop Inn.
That's true. And at the end of the day, with the announcements that communication arts class also do, there was 4 of us at the time. It was myself, Dan Davis, Keith Nichols, and Jason Danner. When the music came on every day, we started just dancing around, and after a couple weeks, we had a little routine down.
Pine
And
Cone.